2003 Buick LeSabre came in. Engine light is not on, like I was just going to tell you. ABS, traction control, stability off, red brake light, all those are lit up. Took it for a quick drive. 90-some% of the time, no, let's say 80% of the time on a GM, it is a bad wheel speed sensor, results in replacing a hub assembly. We do find broken wires, things like that, but then the other portion of the time we get the other little problem here that I have that I'm going to show you. We'll do a quick diagnosis on it, but I'm pretty certain what we're going to find, and it's a problem that plagues a lot of GMs too. The open relay code, open relay circuit code, is a relay internal to the EBCM that decides to take a dump on the circuit board, so we'll have a quick peek at that. Fire this little guy up. I'll show you, turn everything off here. Yeah, I thought for sure I was just going to take her for a quick ride, but so let's see, we have a red brake light on over there. Of course, we've got our amber ABS light. And they also have the service stability system and traction off. Not an uncommon sight on a General Motors. Let's see, what's this have on it for mileage here? 96,897. So like I say, I didn't plan on doing a video because I just assumed we're going to have speed sensor action. So what we'll do is we'll take a peek at this. We'll show you what codes we have. So we got our classic C1214 system, solenoid relay coil contact circuit open, and then another code basically indicating that the red brake warning light is on. Red brake warning light can come on for multiple reasons, slow brake fluid. There's about 6 or 7 different codes that'll turn it on, park and brake, etc. But what we can do, C1214, we can just poke into the troubleshooter here. I don't know what advice they offer in here. Okay, it says that C1214 sets when the EBCM, so your electronic brake control module, BPMV, I'd have to look, brake pressure modulation valve, I don't know, I'd have to look that up, detects a low 8 volts or no voltage output from the control relay while being commanded on, and the battery source voltage is above 10.5 volts. If the battery voltage and charging system tests okay, then check the EBCM connector and the module for secure connections and wiring damage. Also check system ground integrity. If the system grounds and source voltage is okay, then suspect the EBCM. The relay is not serviced separately. I will grab my tool of choice for this battle. A simple light. No, just kidding. A little scope on a rope is all we're going to need here, and a wiring diagram, probably not even that. So down here is our hydraulic control unit, our HCU, which has the EBCM attached to the electronic brake control module. Typically there's 2 big wires going to it, you know, big power, big ground, usually another ground. We'll look on a wiring diagram. And this is the code that, you know, people will get on their some trucks, stuff like that. This is the code that you typically get when you yank the fuse to mask a wheel speed sensor unwanted ABS activation problem. Sometimes these relays and these EBCMs, they will stick open, and I've seen them in some cases where they actually stick closed, and that's bad news bears. Then the pump runs continuously. So what we'll do, it's got kind of a funky connector on it. It's got like a latch you got to pull up. Let's see if we can't get it unplugged. Maybe this will be a sweet video. Maybe it's going to have a broken wire. There we go. Or something. Well, look at that. We can pull it right up here to work on it. Okay, so it has a little lock. Stick this down on its sweet magnetic base. Alright, so we have, this little cover comes off easy enough, so we can see who's Sam and who's Henry here. You always got to know who Sam and Henry are. That's quite important. I wonder who the original Sam and Henry really were. You know, it's like Tom, Dick, and Harry. Alright, so we'll slide that cover off. here we go. So this is how it usually works. GM's pretty famous for using the black wires for ground, so we have 3 black wires, got a big honky jumbo red wire. I assume that's probably coming from our heavy fuse in the fuse box. And then usually there's an ignition source wire here, which we'll have to look up. But first, we're gonna hook our test light. Get around you guys here. Excuse me for a moment. It's a battery positive. We're battery positive. Anything we touch that goes to ground will light up. So we'll check these grounds right here. There's 1, there's 2. And that one must not be a ground. We'll look. That could be our problem. So I've got 1 ground, 2 grounds, nothing there. Maybe wrong. We're just guessing at this point. So now we will hook to the strut tower over here. Maybe. Test light is now hooked to a ground. Anything we touch with battery positive will light up. It should be this big jabroni there, which it does light up. Now let's get a wire diagram. We will find our ignition source. We'll turn our key on. I think it's probably this brown wire. You know, let me just take a big fat guess at that. Let me turn the key on. Okay, the key is on. What's this brown wire? Look at that. Good guess. So our brown wire, the big honky red wire, both have 12 volts. The only suspect wire right now is this black wire. Let me get a wire diagram and see if that is also supposed to be a ground, and then we'll go from there. That'd be sweet. Well, this is embarrassing. It's not even a wire, folks. It sure as heck looks like a wire to me. But it's not a wire. I'll be jiggered. So let's have a little look here. Can I backlight that? That's weird. Where are we? We are right. Let's get it where everybody can see it. We're right here on this connector. So we got our power, our ignition feed, which was brown. That was a good guess, huh? There's a couple wires there for variable steering. And the 2 blacks, G and F, module ground, pump motor ground. And then the third thing that looks like a black is a vent tube for venting. Wasn't that just something? So that's the vent. So basically, we can look at this. Our pins look beautiful. Let me grab a mirror and we'll look down there. Have a look. Those pins look absolutely gorgeous. So at this point, that's it. Show's over. This little guy needs a new EBCM, electronic brake control module. Fortunately, that is available separate. You can get this separate from the hydraulic unit. If, it's always a big if in New York State, it comes off, those bolts are looking wicked angry. What I've done in the past is actually drilled the heads off those, taken the module off, then gotten the little screws out. I think initially they're a Torx bit. Right now they're more like a, I like to refer to it as a blob, a round blob. So that's it, folks. Show's over. I gotta come up with the estimate now. Quite often, when I pick these up, I get them used. Oh, the key's still on. I just heard some dinging. Yeah, we'll definitely try to get this used. I get Southern ones. They're really nice shape. I like to start stuff in the South because buying this new would be ridiculous. I mean, they're mad. Mine's like $1,000 or some stupid thing. So we'll see what we can figure out here. All right, folks. Talk to the customer. Show's over. This is what it is. He might fix it at a later date, he says. but not right now. It's not in the budget, so that's it. But if you get a code, that C1214, whatever it was, for that open and the relay, super common. You know, it's the same on the Chevy pickups, and on the pickups and stuff, I've had really pretty good success just changing out just the module. You know, that's like right up on top. You know, I can get up there, and a lot of those, what I'll do is I'll just take the cutoff wheel. I just take cutoff wheel, just cut through the module, cut through all 6 screws, hold on, or 4 screws, whatever the case is. You know, like I say, slip it off, and you just got these little pegs sticking up, and you can unscrew those. And like I say, if you live in the Rust Belt, you got to do one of these. Make sure you get a Southern unit, and ask them to send the screw. Well, usually they won't separate the, you know, they tell you, you know, oh, it's not separable if you separate it, warranty's void, blah, blah. They tell you all that. So, but if they will sell you just the EBCM, make sure they send the screws with it, or at least buy the screws, you know, whatever you got to do there. And that's it. So I know it's a short one, and it's a quick and easy diagnosis, but it's not any more complicated than that. The relay is turned on, you know, internally it's all logic. So if you have your powers and grounds, so the rest of it's up to the brain in the box. And I know there's always going to be the viewer saying, you know, they would take it off and they'd tear it apart and solder on a new relay and all that stuff. You know, fantastic. And I don't doubt that you could. You know, they're all metal casing on the outside. I don't know if you probably have some way to, you know, pry it open, and they're full of that goopy jelly crap. So you got to get all that out. You know, that's not even feasible for a, you know, just a regular Joe Schmuck like myself, repair shop person. You know, we just get the unit, put it on, be happy. So I hope you guys are happy. If you are, give us a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Tell us why the video sucks. And check us out, Facebook, Google+, while you're at it. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. So we got this 07 Town and Country. It's got the big 3.3 liter in it. Came in with a, came in as original as a no start, no crank. Simply just need the battery. So that was the easy fix. So besides that, the guy said, well, being it was that simple, have a look at my ABS light that's been on for a while. That whole business. Took it for a drive, got a code C2200. Kind of common on these. And it kind of sucks because it's kind of expensive. I'm going to show you a little quick procedure on that. We're going to go through and check that out using the latest in advanced test equipment. Our favorite little friend here, scope on a rope. And it's just kind of bizarre because we just did this Buick that needed an ABS control module. We've got this little guy right here, 95% certain this is going to need a ABS control module. Of course, we're going to test it first, check powers and grounds. That's all you can do. And then we've got that Caravan over there that's already probably been in a video or is coming up in a video that has no horn, which also needs a power module. So that's 3 people in one day I've had to tell they needed very expensive repairs. All of them resulted, you know, as a result of a, you know, some sort of logic board, some sort of control module. So, but I can't shoot the messenger, but I tell you what, some days I just feel like the Grim Reaper. Right, so first thing first, I've already unhooked it, but I will show you, oops. Get trigger happy here. We'll go in here and I will show you what this looks like, or what the code is rather. So you can see down there, hopefully you guys see that because I can't see anything, but we got that code C2200, and the definition is anti-lock brake module internal fault, basically. So, like I said, I think we've probably, hopefully put this video out already on this one. Got a whole bunch of short videos. This little guy lives down here under the brake booster. We're going to take and get unplugged. Connector's a little tricky on these, and then we're simply going to test for powers and grounds. I did finish out a schematic. Let's see. Still got the schematics in here from this 03 Buick. 1-2 barbecue, we're banging them out today. Same thing as that one. 2 powers, or I'm sorry, 1 full-time power, 1 ignition switch power, and 2 grounds. Essentially the exact same as the Buick we did. So we will check that out as soon as we get the connector undone. So our ABS computer lives down here. I don't know if you guys can see that. The fact of the matter is I've got to try to get to it. there's a little tab on the side, I think, that we've got to try to get to. Kind of a big pain. Then it has a lever. I think once we pull that up, our heart is probably ready to stink away. All right, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, kind of, it's hard to explain. They're super frustrating the first one you do. Got like a cam lock you got to kind of pull up, similar to that Buick. Kind of the same but different. How's that? So all we can do, I don't think we have much latitude to move it here. Let's see if we can get it yanked up here so you guys can see what the heck I'm doing. These braided lines will cut the crap out of you. Start running your hand across those. Come on, little guy. Come here, little fella. Yeah, that's it. We ain't going no further. So basically, we've got it out down there. I don't know if you can see it, but we're going for our big terminals. All right. So, well, first, I guess we can check our grounds. Oh, who's Sam and who's Henry here? There we go with the whole Sam and Henry thing. So basically, our test lights look very positive. Anything we touch this ground is going to light up. We'll see if it's these ones. There's one ground. There's two grounds. So I do know they're both side by side. So hopefully you can see that in the video. Yeah, you guys can. So, yep, ground one, ground two. And our other big honkers up there on the opposite end of the connector. One of them should be a full-time battery source here. Get this stinking thing down here. Which one are you, little buddy? There's a full-time power. There's a full-time power. So there's those two. And then, what do we have? Let me just see if I got my key on or off right now. The key is currently off. Let me find our ignition source. Let's see, let me get a different picture here. Alright, so I went ahead and turn the key on. It's supposed to be pin number 8. So I'll see if I can get a probe here in the front. So, with the connector facing you, it should be all the way to the right. And our small pins, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully that's the right one. That is number 8. I don't know if it is the right one or not. I'm gonna have to get a connector pin out because it's the big one. Alright guys, I think I was just on the wrong side. So we're gonna do number 8. 1. Hole 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's pin number 8. Let's hold this probe on there. I got the key on. Check it. We're hooked to battery negative. There we go. So there's our test light there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So the test light's lit. It is on number 8. Okay, there. Sheesh. Just had to go look that up. So now, try to get that line back up, and then you just cam the top of that back over and it snaps in. So, there. So that's it, folks, on that one. I just can't believe there's 3 cars in one day that all need some sort of control module. ABS module, totally integrated power module on the Dodge outside. 2 of them with ABS lights and one that the horn doesn't work. All of them like essentially $1,000 repairs, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But that's the way it is. They just pay me to diagnose them. I don't build them. So that's that. This fella needs a new ABS controller. Now these ones, it is such a common issue for those to fail, and they're kind of pain in the neck to change. I would be a little skeptical of getting a used one. Plus, that is a smart module, so that one does need to be reflashed when it's installed. I don't know if they can reflash an old one if you call our Chrysler dealership, they'll tell you no, it's impossible, but they probably can. So I'm gonna quote this guy in a new ABS control module and see what he says. If we do get the job, obviously we'll come back and fix that, but I'm not so sure that we will. But if we do, I'll let you know. Otherwise, thumbs up, thumbs down, you decide. Facebook, Google+, all that business, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that already. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, when your arsenal looks like this, everything's a mess, and you come over, and you've got 3 of these little broken screws, and a little ABS module, and some heat, and brake clean, coil, knife. I was about ready to call it quits. Not really. Picks and screwdrivers and hammers and easy out sockets. All that for an ABS module that resides down there that is relatively easy to get to, typically. And you can see the shiny new bolts in it that it comes with, thankfully, because only 1 out of the 4 bolts actually came out. And I fought with it. It's almost 8:30 at night. I started this job about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Of course, I had to walk away several times as the Panther piece to soak in. I beat on it with a hammer for a little while, tried a couple other methods, and having just, a little stub to grab a hold of, you have to be very careful. So my method was cutoff wheel. I used a cutoff wheel to cut the heads off all the bolts while looking through a mirror and not cutting the power steering line or the transmission shift cable and all that. But that is neither here nor there. When you put these modules in, so this had an internal control module fault. Basically, just check it for powers and grounds. I think I did a video on it. I have no idea the order of what the videos are playing, but anyhow, so that's in. It's diagnosed. The problem is when you install them, you now have a blinking ABS light. It's a brand new module from Chrysler. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Autel here. Oh, hang on, we're doing this live. We're going to use the Autel, if I can get it kind of set up for you guys here. Oop. And we're going to see if we can program this with the Autel. So we'll just go to control unit. I think that you can. I'm not 100% positive on this. So we'll go ABS. First we'll see what code's in it. Probably some kind of bin. Okay, so yep, so vehicle configuration mismatch, ESP sensor calibration. So it appears that perhaps we have to have the VIN programmed and then do some kind of ESP calibration. So we'll back out of here. We'll check the menus here, maybe special function. So initialize ABS perhaps. Routine is to be used to initialize the ABS ECU after either ECU or related component replacement. Okay. Please verify the vehicle is stationary on level ground, wheels straight forward, and the brake pedal released. Wheels pretty well. That's pretty well straight. We're on level ground. Please wait 1 second. ESP sensor initialization complete. Please continue to finish initialization of ABS. Hopefully this works. Checking if vehicle is equipped with ESC. Please wait. Engine ignition on, engine off. Yes. Diagnostics codes have been successfully released. Return to function menu and tap read codes to verify. Turn ignition off. Okay. Turn ignition on. Okay. Cycle ignition and press OK. Cycle ignition, what do you mean? Cycle off? And then on, perhaps? That's what I'm assuming. In order to complete the drive test, the engine must be running at first, and then the vehicle has to be driven 3 to 15 miles an hour with a turn that is at least 90 degrees wide. Okay, I wonder, do I do that now? The ESP light will continue to flash till the drive test is complete. If the ESP light is on solid, then the test drive failed due to faulty component. Check DTCs, which might have set during the test drive. Okay, so what we got up there? We just got a flashing ABS right now. There's the ESP off button there. I don't see any ESP light, but it says the ESP light will continue to flash, but the ABS light is flashing. Okay, so let's say okay. Start engine. Okay. Hit the brakes even if the vehicle has a manual transmission. Turn the wheel full left and full right. So hit the brakes. Turn the steering wheel full left, then full right. Then back to center. And make sure the wheels are centered. Are they centered? Hold on, folks. We're doing this live. This is live on scene. Okay, I can let go of the brakes, I hope. Hit OK when done. The brake pedal needs to be pressed before proceeding. Okay, brake pedal's depressed. I hit OK. Oh no, don't lock up on me, baby. So right now the ABS and red brake light is up there blinking at us. It's telling us to please wait. Maybe I'll let off the brake. I let off the brake. My foot is not on the brake. Wonder what's going on. Wonder if perhaps we need to drive it. I think the 1 second is up, I'm not gonna lie. I tell you what, I had to go put old Miss Sheba in the office there. She's out here wandering. I'll let this continue and we'll maybe take it for a little shake, I don't know. So out of focus. Okay, so we're still at please wait. Let's take her for a little shimmy here. I have no idea what will happen. You have to deal with the dinger. Okay, so the ESP light is on, ABS light is on, and shit, better turn on the headlights. Oh my gosh, this thing's got a wheel bearing that's like ready to nuke. You guys hear that? Holy crap. Wheel bearing's like ready to fall off this thing. So we still got our please wait thing there. We'll go out here where we can do a 90-degree turn, I guess. That's what I was looking for. It's funny, I had no wheel speed sensor codes and I just had the one code for the internal control module failure. I'm gonna have to put this thing up on a lift and see what in the thunder's going on with that wheel bearing. Oh my gosh. I know the door or the dingers there are going to be like super loud on the camera. This fella turning. What's he doing? There's his turn signal. Okay, here we go. So that was at least 90 degrees, wasn't it? So now we just got to float. There we go. Okay, let's pull over. Something just happened. So we did our test drive. We're pulling over because our ESP light is no longer flashing. This says, what's this say? Clearing rolls information, engine must not be running, turn engine off, turn ignition to run position. That's okay. Please wait. Clearing roll byte successfully completed. Oops. Okay. ABS initially successfully completed. Hopefully this worked. Okay. So do we still have to do this ESP sensor? I think we did that just now driving it. So let's see what codes we have. No fault codes found. We still got some blinky blinky over here, probably because we're in the ABS section. Let's start it up. A lot of times with the Chryslers, when you're in the ABS, you know, with the scan tool, those lights are flashing. So let's just see here, no fault codes. So let's go ahead and exit the ABS module. See, they're still flashing. They're on. Now they're off. Okay, so there they are. So I backed back out of the ABS section. All of our lights are off. We'll take her for a little shake here. That's just our seatbelt buzzer. This wheel bearing is horrid. Oh yeah. All right, no lights. Fantastic. So we'll blow a UE right here. We'll head back to ground zero. So I just pulled over real quick. I just wanted to see these wheel speed signals, see what they look like. Like I said, it didn't ever have any wheel speed sensor codes in it or anything. Just that control module issue. Yeah, best I can tell. They're all working, so it's probably just noisy bearing. It's probably not loose, but good news is no more ABS light for this little lady. Alright guys, that's it. So that's all there is to reprogramming this module with the Autel. I don't know why it didn't prompt us to drive it when right before it went into the wait little stage there with a limbo. I thought right before it flipped to that, I seen it briefly flash that screen again where it said, you know, that we're gonna have to drive it and do all that business. I'm happy that it worked. It saved us a trip to the dealer. You know, according to the information in the service manual, said that it had to be reflashed, you know, using the, you know, star scan or whatever the OE scan tool is. So I was glad to see the Autel exceeded there, and definitely saved us a whole bunch of time of driving to the dealer and getting it flashed and blah, blah, blah. So I do have to use it again tomorrow. I got an instrument cluster going to 550. The microprocessor in that went bad for the fuel level input. It processes it from one of the two tanks and then spits it out to the instrument cluster on the gas gauge. And that went bad. So I got another cluster from United Radio, but they do not have the ability to program anything other than the mileage, and said I'd have to go to the dealer to get that flashed. So I'm hoping the Autel works on that too. It seems to work on all these little secondary modules, you know, besides ECUs, to reflash, you know, the ABS modules and instrument clusters and, you know, pass keys like we've seen in one video, and, you know, radios and stuff like that. So we're gonna keep moving. So I just want to bring you guys along. I know a lot of you ask about the Autel versus, you know, the Snap-on, blah, blah, blah. So I just kind of like to, you know, use it when I can. It's good where it's good, and it's not good where it's not good. How's that? So it's late, it's 9 o'clock, I'm going home. Thanks for watching.